Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Chester Racecourse here on Friday. It is the 6th of May 2022. Gonna look at almost all the races here on the final day of the May Festival from Chester. But before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kit 5 for more selections for race courses around the world. And also join me today for my Kentucky Oaks preview. That video is already live, and tomorrow for my Kentucky Derby preview. That should be up very soon, so I hope you join me for that. But it's it's the end of the Chester for the week. It's been a great week of racing. We have 6 races to look at. We won't be looking at the amateur handicap, the 420, the 6th race, or the apprentice handicap. We're going to skip over that. We'll look at the other 6 races on the program. A lot of action to get to. Starting off with the first race, the 130 from Chester, which is the ICM Stellar Sports Earl Grosvenor Handicap. The Class 2 handicap going for a purse $55,500. Races for 4-year-olds and upwards. Horses rated 86 to 105. 11 horses are going 1,600 meters or a mile on the turf course. I'm going to take here as a top selection the 1 horse Buzala. Will go 184 in the Tricast Trifecta. 184 Tricast Trifecta. Top selection the 1 horse Buzala. This 5-year-old gun by Dawn Approach. Ryan Moore's on this one for William Haggis. The horse's most recent outing came 26th of March at Doncaster. That came in the Doncaster mile there, and the horse finished third by 4 lengths there, and he just never really got going. He didn't break so clearly. He was just very lackadaisical, under drive, just not excelling. First off the bench since December, the horse desperately needed the race. Second off the bench coming here, not the world's toughest race, even with a high weight. I think he could improve off that subpar race last time out at Doncaster. He ran at Newcastle before that on the 3rd of December, 7 furlongs in the Tapeta and a Class 2 handicap, and he finished second by a nose that day. And he stalked that day. He had a decent turn of foot. The winner just ran better than him, but there was nothing bad about that race. And then on the 6th of November at Doncaster, in soft ground, 7 furlongs in a Class 2 handicap, he won by 1/4 lengths, and he upset at 22 to 1 that day. That afternoon, he sat back early. He slowly moved his way up and got the job done. A very good race. He's coming to make his Chester debut, which shouldn't be a problem. He has some fairly pace to win here, and I think he should go up a lot with the faster ground. I'm going to take him here at 3 to 1. To recap my selection for the 130, the first race from Chester, let's take the 1 horse Busala. We'll go 184 in the Tricast Trifecta. The second race at 205, it's the Deep Bridge Handicap. It's Class 2 handicap going for a purse $55,500. Race for 4-year-olds and upwards, horses rated 86 to 105. We have a field of 9 horses going 2,000 meters or a mile and a quarter on the turf course. I'm going to take the 3 horse Cat Francis as a top selection. Let's go 317 in the Tricast Trifecta here. 317 Tricast Trifecta, top selection 3 horse Cat Francis. This 6-year-old gelding by Frankel. Ian Williams trains 1. Ben Curtis gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came 30th of April at Newmarket, 1,800 meters, a mile and 1/8 in the Suffolk Handicap, and the horse won by a half a length that day. And he really had a great stalking position all the way down the racecourse. When he found the front end, he quickened up nicely and got the job done. First off the bench, it wasn't a bad race at all. Coming to a little bit slightly longer trip today on firmer ground, I think he could really improve. He ran Boxing Day before that at Wolverhampton, a mile 3/16 in a Class 2 handicap, and he finished 4th by 3 lengths that day. He was with them early on. He was on the drive. He just couldn't get the good turn of foot late. Maybe just asking a little bit too much that day. Just wasn't 100% cranked. And then Illicit Stakes on the 24th of November at Kempton, 1 mile there. He finished 10th by 4 1/4 lengths. I do think the trip was too short. Never really got going from a tracking position. Kind of hit the wall there. And then the 23rd of October at Newbury, 1 mile and a quarter in a Class 2 handicap. He finished 4th by 8 1/4 lengths there. And again, he just never really got going from the back of the pack. I like how his last few races he's been forwardly paced. Being forwardly paced, like I've been saying all week on this track, is very ideal. And I think at 7-2, this horse could really get a good race here today. I'm going to use him here. Don't throw out the 1 horse Brentford Hope. Jamie Spencer's on this one. His races, he's facing some very tough horses in group races most recently. Back down to a handicap, which would suit him well on firmer ground. Forwardly paced. Definitely use him in your place pot at 620, even with the heavy weight. But to recap my selection for the 205, the second race from Chester, it's the Deep Ridge Handicap. Let's take the 3 horse Cat Francis. Give kudos to the 1 horse Brentford Hope. 317 Tricast Trifecta. Let's go 3-1 in the place pot. The third race, the co-feature 240. It's the Group 2 Huxley Stakes. It's a Group 2 event for Class 1 horses, going for a purse of $187,000. Race for 4-year-olds and upwards. 5 horses are going 2,000 meters or a mile and a quarter on the turf course. I'm going to take here the 4 horse Magellan as a top selection. We'll go 4-3-1 in the Tricast Trifecta. 4-3-1 Tricast Trifecta. Top selection of 4 horse Magellan. This 4-year-old colt by Kingman. Frankie Dettori on this one for John and Thady Gosden. The horse's most recent outing came 12th of April, Newmarket. Good ground, 1,800 meters, a mile and eighth in the Group 3 Earl Sefton Stakes, and he couldn't find the winner's circle. He finished second by 1/4 lengths there. You know, he was with him early on, a little rushed late. He never could get the good turn of foot. It just wasn't his day to win. Coming here second off, lesser quality horses, forwardly paced horse on a speed favoring course. I think he should run a lot better than he did last time out. Two back, he ran in the Group 2 Prix d'Olaire at Longchamp, Mile Quarter, 2nd of October, and he finished 5th by 4.5 lengths there. And again, from a tracking position on very, very soft ground, he never had the turn of foot. That was a very subpar race. Also, just tough horses. And then they ran in the Sovereign Stakes before that, Salisbury, 1 mile on 12th of August. He won by a length that day. You know, he stalked, he got the lead, and he had the job done. It was a small margin victory, but it was an all-around great race. And then they ran him in the Prix du Jockey Club at Chantilly, where he just never really got going from a stupidly wide post draw. But he placed in the Dante before that behind Hurricane Lane. He ran his heart out behind the winner there. But coming here, not the world's toughest race, should be forwardly paced. Frankie up at 8-5, a very likely winner. To recount my selection for the 240, the third race from Chester, it's the Group 2 Huxley Stakes. Let's take the 4 horse Magellan. Let's go 4-3-1 in the Tricast Trifecta. The featured fourth race now, the 315, it is the Chester Cup. It's Class 2 handicap, going for a purse of $204,000, races for 4-year-olds and upwards. We have 17 horses staying the trip of ground of 3,800 meters, or 2 miles and 3 furlongs, or 3/8 on the turf course. I'm going to take here the 5 horse Cleveland as a top selection. Nobody wants to go to Cleveland, trust me, it's a horrible city. I've been there many times. I'm going to go 5-3-1 in the Tricast Trifecta. 5-1-3 Tricast Trifecta. The only thing to do in Cleveland actually is Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's actually somewhat fun. But I haven't been there since 2008, so it's been almost 15 years now. But Cleveland, the 5 horse, 4-year-old colt by Camelot. Coolmore owns, Zane O'Brien trains. Ryan Moore gets the mount. The horse's most recent out came at Nace on the 27th of March. A mile and a quarter in a listed stakes there. That was the Devoy Stakes, and he finished 5th by 4 lengths that day. He sat back early. He never quickened up. You know, off the bench, he didn't need the longer the race there. Coming here to longer distance where he could settle well. Wide poster doesn't really scare me with this horse today, because I think he'll have enough time to settle and slowly move his way up. I think he really ran a good race here today. Two back ran the 6th of November at the Curragh, heavy ground, 1,800 meters, mile and eighth in a main race, and the horse won by 4 lengths that day. And he stalked, he got the lead, quickened up nicely, and just kept going. An all-around ease race from there. In a Tipperary 1,800 meters in a two-year-old main race. This was November 2020, keep in mind now. He finished 5th by 4 3/4 lengths. And again, he sat back early. A little bit of turn of foot, but wasn't anything spectacular. Coming here with his 5th start, missing the 3-year-old campaign to the 4-year-old campaign, to a longer trip. I think that's something he wants to do. We're going to take him here. Don't throw out the one horse here, Falcon 8. Frankie Dettori's on this one for Dermot Weld. He won this race quite easily last year with Frankie up. Came back to run in Queen Alexandra at Royal Ascot, where the horse didn't really do any running at all on soft ground. Came back to run over the hurdles over the winter, where he ran okay. He actually broke his mane over the hurdles at Thurles in February, and then came back to win a place in a grade 2 over the hurdles at Fairhouse earlier last month. But back to his staying trip, he should be 100% cranked. 6-1. Definitely win, but 138 pounds the horse is going to have to overcome on the weight side. But to recount my selection for the 315, the 4th race from Chester, it's the Chester Cup. Let's take the 5 horse Cleveland as a top selection. Give kudos to the 1 horse Falcon 8. 5-1-3 Tricast Trifecta. 5-1 in your place pot. The 5th race now, the 345. It is the Boodle Secret Garden Condition Stakes. Class 3 conditions race, going for a purse $35,500. Race for 3-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 7 horses going 1,000 meters or dashing 5 furlongs on the turf course. I'm going to take here the 4 horse, who is Night on Earth. We'll go 417 in the Tricast Trifecta. 417 Tricast Trifecta. Top selection, the 4 horse Night on Earth. 4-year-old gelding by Kodiak. Harry Davies is on this one from Mick Appleby. Supposed to carry 135 pounds, but with the 7-pound apprentice up, it's only going to carry 128, which I think is a good weight for this horse. His most recent race came at Newmarket on the 14th of April. 5 furlongs on Class 3 handicap, and he finished 3rd by 1.5 lengths that day. And he really just kind of stalked and never got the good turn of foot. He didn't weaken out of it, but he just, the two in front of him were much the best. Coming here today, off the bench, a little bit of off bench, back to Chester. I think he can run a good race. His one race here a few years ago wasn't bad at all, where he won one going away. So back to the course should suit him well. Two back ran at Linkfield, 2nd of April, 5 furlongs in a Class 2 handicap, and he won by 3/4 length that day, and he broke on top, and nobody was catching me after that. On the front and all throughout, it was an all-around easy race for him, basically with no weight on his pack, with carrying the 7-pound apprentice up, so only carrying 110 pounds, which is quite amazing for him. And then before that, he ran the 12th of March at Kempton, 5 furlongs in a Class 3. He won by 3 1/4 lengths there, and again, on the drive, excelling under the drive, quickened up nicely, had the speed to win. He's a very speedy horse. He gets weight break here, which would suit him well. At 10-1, we're going to use him. Don't throw out the one horse here, King's Lynn, for David Probert and Andrew Balding. He's getting serious class relief from his most recent races. He placed in the Benno Stakes 2 back at Ascot, went back to win a listed race over the flat at Doncaster in early November. Should like the firm ground. At 7-2, another horse using your place pod. But to recount my selection for the 345, the 5th race from Chester, let's take the 4 horse, Night on Earth. Give kudos to the 1 horse, the King's Lynn. 417, Tri-Cash Trifecta. 4-1 in your place pod. Now the 6th race, the 420, we're going to skip over this race because it's a very, very, very tough apprentice handicap. You could probably go a few ways in it, and I just don't like looking at these races, the apprentice or the amateur races, because they're just weird at times. So I'll skip this over and head over to the nightcap, the 455 from Chester, which is a Chester Plate handicap. It's Class 2 handicap, going for a purse $69,000, race for 4-year-olds and upwards, which were declared to run but eliminated in the final stages of the Chester Cup. Not the final stages of the race. They come back in 2 hours and run in that race. Now it's the at the draw. But we have a field of 12 horses, again, going 3,800 meters, 2 miles and 3/8 on the Chester turf course. So they'll be going around quite a few times. I'm going to take the 6 horse Opharius as a top selection. I'm going to go 641 in the Tri-Cash Trifecta. 641 Tri-Cash Trifecta. Top selection of 6 horse Opharius. This 4-year-old gun by Golden Horn. David Probert's on this one for Andrew Balding. The horse's most recent outing came 17th of April at Newbury. 2 miles and a 16th in a Class 2 handicap, and he finished second by 3/4 length. He kind of stalked. He had the lead for a split portion of the race, but then he just kind of got flat late. He never quickened up. It just wasn't his day to win. Come back here, we could slow it down, go on a longer trip. I think he's in a better spot to win. 2 back at Kempton on the poly track, 2 miles in a Class 2 handicap. He finished second by a half length, and he stalked. He had a little bit of a wide poster, which cost him late. He couldn't save ground, and he just couldn't get the good turn of foot late. It wasn't his day to win. And then his seasonal reappearance at Selville, a mile and a half in a Class 5 novice race, winning by 3/4 of a length that day. He stalked. He got the lead. A little bit of lackadaisical in the stretch. He had to be used a lot, but it was still a very good return to the races. He ran here last year at Chester, a mile and 3/4 in a Class 4 handicap to end off the campaign in 2021, where he finished second by a nose. He stalked that day, but really just couldn't keep up. But, the final 2 furlongs, he was hitting the wall. He was on the drive. Maybe the ground was just a little bit too soft for him. But come back here with a longer trip. I think at 5-1, you have to use him. Don't throw out the 4 horse here, who is Have You Missed Me. His most recent race staying at Wolverhampton off the bench was a decent 3rd place finish. With a longer trip, he should go up a lot more also, making his Chester debut. Has some Farley pace. We're definitely going to use him in the place pot to end it off. But to recount my selection for the 455, the 7th race from Chester, it's a Chester Plate handicap. Let's take the 6 horse Opharius as a top selection. Give kudos to the 4 horse, Have You Missed Me. 641 Tri-Cash Trifecta, 6-4 in your place pot. So good luck to all. Remember to join me tomorrow for my Kentucky Derby preview. And remember also to check out my Kentucky Oaks preview, which is live right now. Good luck, everybody, and follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKit5 for more selections for race courses around the world. Good luck.